Alright everybody, today is Saturday and we're going to make some additions to the native tank today. I ran into a friend of mine out fishing the other day and he had some really big shiners that he was using for bait, and they looked to me like either a white perch or a shad, something like that, a very laterally compressed fish, almost mirror brilliant shiny, beautiful fish. So this morning I got the idea of finding out where he got his bait fish, maybe running up there and getting some of them for myself. I'd love to have a little school of them here in the tank. So it turns out there is a bait and tackle shop I did not know about, not far to the north of me, up in Hanover, Pennsylvania. So I am going to be heading up there this morning and picking up some minnows for the tank here. I asked what they had in stock. They do have some Fathead Minnows, and I may buy half a dozen of them just for the heck of it. And then they also have what he told me were Arkansas shiners. Now, I looked up Arkansas shiners, and first of all, they don't look anything like the fish my friend had the other day. Now, that's not to say that they don't have new stock in or something. Just because that's what my friend was using the other day doesn't mean that's what they're still going to have. But that's what I was really hoping for. So probably not going to be getting any of those shad or perch-like fish here in the tank today. The Arkansas shiner, though, was listed on the endangered species list as threatened. So I don't know what threatened means as far as what you can or can't do with it. If it's bred commercially or something, perhaps they can still use them as bait. Although if it's bred commercially or something, I really don't know why it would be listed as endangered or threatened on the endangered species list. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on and whether we're actually going to be getting Arkansas shiners, or maybe he's just got some shiners that came in from some supplier in Arkansas and that's what he's calling them. I'm not sure, but he said they were Arkansas shiners. So let's go on up there and have a look and find out for ourselves. Unfortunately, I will not be taking you all with me, but if you sit right here and wait, I will be right back and we'll see what we got. Alright, and we're back. So they didn't have anything really big, but they did have stuff really cheap. So I know that looks like a lot of minnows, and it is. But they're really small, and I don't know how many of them are going to live considering they are bait. And they're usually not kept in the best of conditions or well fed or anything like that. So I'm really expecting a pretty high mortality rate over the next few days. But we got 36 minnows. We got a dozen Rosy Reds, we got a dozen Fathead Minnows, and then we got a dozen large shiners. Now, I don't know what the shiners are just yet. They did not look like the Arkansas shiner that I looked up online, so not really sure what they are. In fact, they looked a lot like the shiners I had in here from last year that turned out to be golden shiners. So, don't know what we've got just yet. We're going to go ahead and get them in the tank, and we'll have a look from there. I'm not going to film getting them in there. I'm not going to go ahead and pour it in like I normally do. I'm just going to get my dip net out and go ahead and net them in. And then once they've settled down for a little while and have gotten into a routine within the tank, I'll go ahead and wrap this up and we'll get to see what they look like in the tank. And here we are about 3 hours later. Everybody's settled down. When I first put them in, they went all straight to the bottom and everybody went and hid in corners and underneath rocks. I was afraid we weren't going to ever see any of the fish once they got in there. But here we are a few hours later. Like I said, this is my first time back in the room since putting them in there. So let's see if we can't see anybody floating or stuck in a corner or anything like that. And it does not look like we've got any floaters. Oh, yes we do. We got one little dead floating minnow right there. I'm not even sure what kind that is yet. It's not in enough of the light for me to be able to see. So these little, I know they're sort of washing out on the camera, at least that's the way they look to me. They're coming out almost white. The light's so brilliant on them. But if you look at those really bright pale ones, I'll try to single one out. This little one here. Those are the Rosy Red, despite the fact that to me they look pale yellow. I don't know if they'll redden up later, but those are the Rosy Reds. These little minnows here that look very similar to those creek chubs, those I'm guessing are the Fathead Minnows. Again, they're not very big at all. And then dashing and darting and hiding are the shiners. Let's see if we can find some of them. Okay, here's a little school of them. Oh, I can see somewhere back there on the bottom is another dead fish, so we lost another one already. And then here's some of the shiners. Now remember, the guy told me that these were Arkansas shiners. I don't really know why he was saying that, but to me these look exactly like those golden shiners I used to have in here before, which makes me really excited. They were really cool fish, and they grew pretty well. They grew not too fast, but fast enough to make it interesting. Of course, they do get very big, so we'll have to see how they pan out in the long run. But there you go, everybody. That's the new stock for the time being. Again, we'll have to see what the mortality rate over the next several days is. I still need to get that Mayan cichlid out of there. And since we just added a bunch of new fish, even though they came from a bait and tackle store, they are certified zebra mussel free, but that does not mean they're certified ick free or anything else. So effectively, this tank is now sort of a quarantine tank. It's an entirety. So until a few weeks have gone by, or at least a couple of weeks, and I know there's nothing immediate like ick in the tank, I'm not going to take a chance on shipping that Mayan cichlid to anybody. But once a little bit of time goes by, we see that the tank is stable and that there's no risk of external parasites, at least we'll see what we can do about getting this Mayan cichlid out of the tank. So there you go, everybody. Alright, thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed. You don't want to miss any of the stuff we got coming up on this tank or any of my other ones, but this one is going to be interesting for a while now that we got some new stuff in there, lots of stuff to look at. So don't forget, this one is my native tank. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you real soon in the next one.